welcome to Question Marks. And before we get started, welcome back, Brady Stumer.
I finally got done with my Eras tour. I mean, open heart surgery. So
Well, that seems
very
Same
exciting.
thing.
Nice, that's nice.
Pretty exciting.
Yes.
And to welcome him back, we did a philosophy episode because we're such interesting people.
Yeah.
My name's Grayson.
And I am Grayson's father, Rob.
Oh.
I am not your father.
What?
Named Brady.
I'm also not your father, and I'm named Hope.
This is a terrible day.
And
Cam?
I'm Cam, the producer.
Okay.
All right.
Today's philosophy. Feel free to zone out. Feel free to tune in. It doesn't matter. It's a weird one.
I have a new robot heart, and it says, I fucking love you. Bye.
If you were in high school and woke up tomorrow morning as Spider-Man or Spider-Woman, do you think you'd go out for sports?
Yeah. And that's the only way to use your powers. Small town Nebraska, I'm not getting too far Spider-Man wise, so the closest thing we're getting to is a grain elevator, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Elma,
even then, it's to fall off and just hope I land somewhere.
Elma doesn't need a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
I mean, oh, he runs fast and sticks to houses. What is he going to do? Punch almost a story up? Wow.
Yeah,
Wait,
might-
yeah,
It's a very low level state. We don't have much in the ways of skyscrapers.
But doesn't Spidey sense counts for something, though?
yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to just be sticking to things. You could be standing in the middle of Alma going,
Yeah.
hey, something's happening the next street over, which
10
is on
feet
the edge
away.
of town. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you could be like, something's happening from a mile over, or like from a mile over, anyways, because Elma's very quiet.
Isn't a mile like 6 Deos out there?
Yeah, it's
Did we
quite a
establish
few.
that?
Quite a
Season
few
2,
Deos.
episode 2 or something?
Season 2, episode 2, absolutely. But yeah, I absolutely would do sports. I honestly don't know how else I would Spider-Man out there.
Which sport would you do?
Oh, that's a good question. I think track. I think track would be good.
Mm.
Right?
You already, I mean,
Gymnastics, you would think would just be awesome.
Agreed.
Or
I don't think they
basketball.
have those in
Gymnastics
Alma.
You didn't have gymnastics in Alma?
No,
We don't have them in
up
Papillion,
until up until like a certain age group, and then you got weird.
Used to.
You know,
It got weird.
Basketball would be a great sport.
I think the ball would stick to my hands too much.
But you could jump like crazy. You could do you could like stick yourself onto the score, or not the
The backboard?
backboard. Yeah. And so you can
Yes.
automatically dunk, like no matter how tall you are. You're
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
tall. So like,
It's just all alley oops.
yeah, pretty much.
Good game plan.
Just hang out there the whole time. It's 4-on-5 everywhere, but just give me the ball.
Yeah, I was watching Marvel's Civil War or whatever, and Spider-Man was like, I can't go out for sports because I'm differently abled or something like that. And I was like, well, I'd do it.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
I was gonna pose a question. So do you when you are Spider-Man or woman, do you want the public to know that you are Spider-Man or woman, or is this something that you're trying
Oh.
to like keep to yourself, like an alternate ego,
question.
you know?
That
Like,
was-
or do the people at school
That
know
was
that you're
Spider-Man's
Spider?
argument. He's like, I wasn't good at sports before, and now I'd be suspiciously good at them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It would be
But-
very obvious. I don't think you could hide that you were Spider-Man or anything if you went out for sports.
Do you think
Is it
it's
like-
fair that you do? Do you think it's fair that you go out for sports if you
Sure.
are given superpowers?
People would have to game
No.
up.
And I could bring up a really controversial topic if I wanted to, like how, which I guess
That's a
I'm going
threat.
to.
Even
if you not want to.
I'll try and remain
Let's do it. No, throw it. Let's do-
non-political,
let's
but
hear it.
it's just the
Oh.
whole like trans athletes and sports and like women's sports specifically, or
Yeah.
like men, how that is technically biologically or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same on a way
True.
less extreme extent, level.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I don't know. I think you should do sports, but or if you had special powers, you shouldn't be discriminated against. It just would be awesome.
Well, they'd win everything.
unfortunately-
Would it be fair to
exactly.
anybody else?
Probably not.
But it's still fine. You're fine with that?
This is not about the trans thing
No, this is about
anymore.
Spider-Man.
This is about Spider-Man and superpowers.
I was trying to distance that argument.
I was hoping so.
I was just my takeaway from your argument on the trans thing, Hope, was that you were calling men superheroes, right?
No,
Oh.
no.
Here we go.
I was referring to the sheer unfortunate
That was a
scientific
bit,
fact
yeah.
that men have
It was just a joke.
bigger, better, I don't know, physical, not better,
Prowess.
bigger,
Different.
I guess.
Yeah.
Different
Just
physical
me.
capabilities than women do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you get there.
But like also like some like the best bodybuilders in the world have a specific bodybuilder gene that they are born with. Can naturally bulk up on more muscle. Like there's dogs that have the same gene as well that are just huge and can build up more muscle than other people. So
Mhm.
sometimes you got to take advantage of your genetic advantages in that instance. Like,
So you
saying
getting bit by a spider is a genetic advantage.
I think it changed DNA,
You didn't,
right?
You didn't. It did, but you didn't earn it or nothing. You just
And do
got
you earn
lucky.
being born? I mean, like,
yeah.
congratulations, Rob. Congratulations, Grayson.
Thank you.
Hope you did great.
I was the
Proud of you.
fastest swimmer. I did my job.
That's why we
true.
celebrate birthdays, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So like,
Maybe. I don't know.
So is it more? It's morally okay for someone to just genetically change and then just wipe the floor with everybody else because they did it.
Yeah, because someone else will do it. If you don't do it, someone else will
Someone
do it
else is going to
first.
get bit
Yeah.
by a
I
radioactive
guess
spider.
that's
and become-
exactly it.
Are we
We
going to
have
go?
a big problem with spiders around here.
Do we want to go?
Spider League.
We want to go down the road of whatever your density is. Your destiny is going to be fate. Someone's going to get bit by that spider. Why not you?
So it's like it's
Yeah,
morally
right.
fine for someone to take steroids and then play sports because someone else could do it.
Yes. Oh, 1 second.
No, I don't know. So I don't know if that's morally okay, morally fine.
Hmm.
So I'm just because then we're putting certain restrictions on it we have to abide by. Being bit by a spider, you could just say that's going to happen. So
That's kind of.
I might
true,
trip,
guess.
fall on a steroid needle. Oh, shucks.
fall on a steroid needle.
No, I'm
Yeah.
too good.
Yep.
Baseball, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't even think about like if I were to be a teenager and inherit those abilities, sports would be the last thing on my mind. And granted, that's because sports are already kind of the last thing on my mind. But like,
What would you do as Spider Woman?
I
then?
think I would just go fight crime and save the world, obviously. But like,
Write that down. Sorry.
Obviously.
obviously do that. But in my free time, I think I would just go jump around buildings and stuff and just like
Parkour everywhere.
yeah, parkour literally everywhere all the time.
In Papillion?
Wherever. I don't need to be in Papillion. I could probably spidey web across the world if I wanted to.
That's true.
You probably could.
You might want to catch
probably
a
could.
ship like an ocean liner
Yeah,
or something.
right.
Because that's a long leap.
I'd make it work though.
So you would not play sports.
I don't think so.
Okay. Cam, you have any opinions on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely take advantage of that and go do sports. There would be an asterisk next to every record I set.
Oh,
That's okay.
Yes.
They just go, hey, it's Spider Guy. He did the things. We're all really proud of him, but he's leagues above all of our normal human athletes. Is it morally right? Hell no.
But you'd still do
But
it?
I'd still do it just because it'd be fun.
Taking the Barry
And then,
Bonds like the
then once
wire
I get the free, scholarship based on my skills,
NIL money?
I'm off to the college. I get a great education. Maybe I play a little pro ball. I don't know. Maybe I just become a commentator. Who knows?
But everyone knows you're Spider Person because you have.
I mean, they'd
asterisk-
have to. Yeah.
Okay. So you think it would be fun? I don't think it'd be fun after a point. Obviously, making money's fun. That's cool. But like just wiping the floor, like I don't like playing games that I'm the best at all the time. It gets boring. I
Is
like
that
being the
true?
best sometimes.
Is that
That seemed
true?
like a humble brag, didn't
Right.
it?
know.
Yeah.
I'm such a good person.
I don't like always winning.
Yeah. It's kind of boring to always win, though. Like it's like playing a kid in chess and you win every time. Do you still want to keep playing that kid?
You just
Sure.
don't like bad
That's
challenge.
right.
That explains a lot about my
Yeah,
Well,
childhood.
how
What?
else is like the kid gonna learn?
Right.
That's sure. Yeah.
I agree. You just don't like bad
That-
challengers.
Right. That's what I said originally on you want to do the sports because everybody else will have to game up. They'll have to come up to your level.
Nike will start selling spiders. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think of how that would
Maybe
maybe.
spiders.
Yeah.
Nike switches on them.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So morally fine to play sports as Spider-Man. You're saying that's morally fine.
They have no
It's
problem.
hard.
Morally wrong. I think it's morally wrong, but I'd probably still do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Morally wrong would probably still do
Yeah.
it. Morally fine would do it. Wouldn't play sports.
If I were to need to play sports, or if I don't know, I think I would be barred. I do think in a world where that would happen, I think I would be barred from playing sports.
That's
You know,
true.
and I think I would just be okay with that because I understand.
Okay. Where
Whatever
are you
that
at on this
means.
one, Brady?
Oh, morally fine. If you get bit by the one spider that doesn't kill you, all powers to you.
All right, morally fine. Cool. Next question's a little pivot, but it is morality. Would you rather be someone who always tries to make everybody happy, the maximum amount of people happy, or someone who always tells the truth? You could be one or the other.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I am the person that always tries to make people happy. I
So-
do have.
so
I
you'll
don't.
lie
Yeah,
to
I
make someone
have
happy.
lied to make somebody happy before, which is not the best way to go about life by any means. But I think that if I am honest on the pod about who I am as a person, I will lie to make you happy, unfortunately.
So are you being honest on the pod right now?
That's me being honest on the pod because I'm not trying to make anybody happy.
Well, that
That's
makes
just-
me happy.
That's me just speaking to the ether.
Oh, there you
Could be a
go.
lie now, guys.
We don't know what the truth is. We don't know what it is. So you're maximizing happiness in real life.
Yes.
You would rather be that way as well?
Like I would rather be happy instead of be
No, you'd rather maximize everyone, like as many people's happiness. You'd make that your priority over being the most honest all the time.
I think so.
Is that
Ew.
that's a better position in your head?
I think the truth is such a relative, or I don't know. It everybody has their own version of truths, you know, and reality is a whole
Yeah, you're just speaking your
spun
truth
thing.
the whole
Right?
time.
Exactly. I don't know. And granted, maybe I'm not. Maybe I am lying, but I think I would rather live in a world where everybody is happy, and if I can contribute to that by just making sure everybody's happy, even if that incorporates some little
Mhm.
lies here and there, I would
Yeah.
rather do that.
There's no guarantee everyone else will be happier. Your decisions are just based off of trying to make everyone as happy
But if
as
I
possible.
think that they're trying to make people,
Yours
if
the only
I'm
one.
if I'm like if my incentive is to try and make them happy, that is what I would rather do. Yes.
Cool. Okay. What do you got on this one,
I
Brady?
mean, truth is very nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty important thing to have. And out of all honesty, you don't need to be like necessarily mean to people to be truthful with them.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
so I'll say-
arguments that you're morally obligated to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Your truth.
Yeah, I definitely think truthful, but I do think it's a lot easier to not like. Is it like compulsive truth, or is it more of a if asked a question, I have to answer truthfully?
It's not like you're going around. Yeah, it's more of
It's not
if
like,
it comes
it's not
up
like
naturally.
liar, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
not you're not just saying everything that's on your mind all the time. That's not true. No.
That's absolutely what
But
I
if,
like.
if you were talking to someone, you were never going to lie. You were never going to.
yeah, I think
You're going to
that's-
tell your truth the entire time.
Yeah, I think that kind of helps you be a little more happy as well if you're fully true to yourself.
Okay.
I think it has something to do with the depth of the truth. I mean, it is actually the kind of the liar thing. It's do these jeans make my butt look big?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
No.
Unless you want them to, then yes, they do.
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
There you go. So it's, I mean, the depth of the lie.
Yeah.
I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, everybody should be completely truthful and honest, and then everybody knows where everybody's coming from.
So
But
that's
unfortunately, we don't live in that world. And you ask me what I would want, I would prefer to have the honest world
yeah.
as opposed to the me, making everybody happy world, which that's where I'm related to hope. I mean, that's where I live. You try to reduce as many conflicts as possible, unnecessary conflicts. And
Mhm.
so people, if they can go away from an experience happy, then why not let them go away happy, as long as it doesn't, tear you down or unnecessarily injure somebody else.
So which one's morally a better world then?
Morally it's better to tell the truth.
Okay. Yeah,
The
cool.
other one you're acting.
I get it. Okay. Cam,
Yeah,
you have
I
any
would-
opinions here?
Yeah, I'd go with truth on that one just because, at first, once this thing gets taken place,
Mhm.
right? If I'm the one that has to be truthful, after a minute, people are going to be kind of upset because I've been speaking truth, whether it's you got a shitty haircut or,
Mhm.
I like your shoes, whatever the
Truth.
truth
Yeah.
might be. At some point, they're going to be like, oh, that's great that he told me the truth. And I know he's going to be truthful with me going forward. So I can always trust his opinion
Mhm.
to be coming correct with me. And
Yeah.
at first it's going to hurt, but then after a while, it'll balance itself out on the trust scale, I guess you could say.
And that's a morally better position. I
Then
think.
lying to people,
And then trying to make them happy.
trying to make them
Yeah.
happy by lying. Yeah, I mean, again, other than the little white lies that you kind of have to tell people, otherwise you're a prick.
Yeah. But
You
this
know?
is 100 or nothing.
I know. Yeah, I'm just saying,
You would choose
in
the
those
truth.
two situations, I'll
Yeah.
take the truth and not take the lie just to save somebody's feelings.
Okay.
Mhm.
We could dig much deeper into that.
I was gonna say I
don't
feel
know.
so singled out. I'm the only one who said otherwise. But now that I feel
No,
like
it's
you
good.
you guys do bring up a good point. Like it is probably better to tell the truth and stuff. But I would
Well, it's
think
like
of a
every
world.
after school special ever, you always tell the truth. Once you start burying the truth, it just turns into a snowball of lies.
That's true.
Mhm.
Right.
And then you get caught up in the end. It's a bigger
True.
lie that you have, bigger punishment at the end. Than
Mhm.
if you just would have, hey, I hate your haircut. You could have just said that
Yeah.
instead of now it's snowballed to like, oh, we're going to prom together. I don't even like you or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think you're nailing that one right on the head. Where smaller interactions with people you're never going to really see, like a small talk with someone around you. I think the being able to make someone happy is way easier than the truth. Like long lasting relationships, or people you work with in that scenario, I think that's easier to handle the truth. But if it's just like I'm meeting you at the gas station for the first time and you're in line in front of me, Cam's 100% right. If instead I said, how's your day going? Instead of saying great, I said your hair sucks. I think it would be a lot more difficult, right?
It's not like you're just compulsively telling the
Right.
truth.
Yeah, but like, how's your day? And you give them the full explanation of your day. At one point, you're just like, shut up.
You could just be like bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You could
That's
just
still
say
the truth
bad.
if you're having a bad day.
Yeah, and then everyone else like, yeah.
But how do you
cool.
respond to that?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
as
All
a
right,
stranger, how do
keep
you
looking
respond
up.
to that?
I hope it gets better.
Oh, very
That's
nice.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
As a stranger, I'd just be like, right?
Hell yeah, me too.
You think you got it bad? Well, let me tell you about my day.
Or you just turn around and you're the honest. That makes me feel a little better, actually.
I was just scared that I feel like in a world full of honesty,
In a world, I know.
in a world, I keep
gonna-
doing
no, it's gonna
that.
keep
Yeah.
happening.
In a world.
I don't know. I'm scared that, and I just think sometimes I go to the worst, but I feel like it'd just be full of hate after a while. And I don't know if that's true, but people just like wouldn't be nice to each other, or they would because they're just being honest and they genuinely are just cool with sharing their. I immediately go to
No,
people would just be rude and
this is
people would just move further apart from each other, and
Mhm.
whereas if everybody was just trying to make each other happy, like
And
Yeah.
that's the
community
question:
would
are
be built
people
a
good
lot
or are people
differently,
bad?
and
Well, that's
a
kind of the
different
question.
Well, I mean, if people are good, fundamentally good, then telling the truth eventually will be a good thing. If people are fundamentally bad, they'll try to figure out a way to work you and get something from you and work the angle, and then it all goes to hell. So
Mm.
That's the basis. Is if you're in a truth-telling world, it's a much colder world, but it's a more of a real world than if you're trying to make people happy all the time. That's a very fake but warmer world.
Right.
And people would argue for the warmth of the world, like being comfortable is more important than making your point known, which I think is where you're kind of getting at, Hope.
Yeah,
Like
kind
be
of.
comfortable, and if you don't hate a person, you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
Basically, and then you can jump to the extreme is how much are you willing to do to maximize happiness, because that could come at a cost, of yourself or others. Like if you're not telling the truth, like if someone's hurting you, like a group of people, right? Let's say you're getting bullied, and then you're someone who's always trying to make everyone else or as many people happy as possible. You're just going to keep taking that bullying. You're not going to do anything about it. But if you're someone who always tells the truth, that could get slippery too. I mean, the basis example, we're just going to go all the way to the extreme, is like, Nazis are at your door. You have Jewish people upstairs. People would argue, philosophers argue that you should tell them the truth. And faced with that argument, they say you should absolutely tell Nazis that you have Jewish people in your attic, because if they go get them out of your attic, it's not your fault.
Oh, I see.
You told them the truth, and how they react to the truth is their own thing. That's not.
But if you
on
know
you.
how they're gonna react
Yes,
to the truth,
that's the dangerous part. So then you try to make the
Yeah.
maximum amount of people happy. It's
Right.
probably the family up in your attic.
That's who I would go with. I would 100% lie to those
Yeah.
Nazis.
I want to get their name right. I should have
problem.
written it down. It's Unitarianism or something like that, is where you're
Mhm.
trying to make the world as happy as possible, but it comes at costs.
Right.
It always comes at costs. You can't just always be happy. Not everyone can be happy.
Right.
And is that better or worse than a world of truthers?
And is it everybody has this, or is it just you?
It's
in the
just
world?
you, and
Mm,
you
okay.
are, kind of putting it out in the world.
Right. Because I can see that doing the lying side as like you have to carry that burden of the lie.
Yeah.
You've been
Mhm.
telling whatever those lies might be. Now it's weighing on you
True.
for the betterment of the world, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the situation.
Well, it's
I'm
that.
still
and then-
sticking with my original point, but I can see that. I see that side of it where it's like, okay, now I have to continue this lie. It's almost like you're a superhero where you have to you carry that weight,
just to make
long
sure
enough to see yourself become the villain. Type of thing.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make everyone else happy. I'm surprised we all picked truth except Hope.
No, I'm going to come to Hope's defense, because I think she would pick truth, because she answered it in where does she think she is now. You asked what would me morally be
Better.
correct.
Right.
So I think she would. I'm not going to speak for you, but morally, I think she, because she said she agreed basically.
I do. Yeah.
But she answered it. She answered it in the form of this is where I am, and I think that's where we all are. I think we all are people pleasers,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
because we're not sociopaths. Because we like to get along, go along, get along, kind of thing. Not completely, but we know that we have to exist with other people.
Mhm.
So
You argue that it is morally better to always tell the truth.
yes, morally it's better to tell the truth, but realistically,
Right.
to get along with everybody else, you have to tell the lies. You have to tell.
Thank you.
The little white lies, if nothing. else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is what I was trying to say.
So yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
So a morally better world is the everyone's looking out for happiness, is what I'm gathering from you. The morally better world is that
No.
warm, fake,
Mm,
Exactly
No,
opposite.
no,
Morally, the
no.
better world is everybody's telling the truth.
and it's
Mhm.
cold.
But
And
realistically,
I
the
don't think
world
it-
that we live in right now and how we operate as humans, a lot of us go on, even though we morally believe it would be cool to tell the truth and be honest all the time. Realistically, we do lie to make others people happy, and we do seek that comfort, whether it be subconsciously or not.
some do, some don't. Yeah,
Correct.
it's actually
Right.
kind of half and half. I'd argue. The
That's
world
what
is
I
right
was
now.
saying, though. That's
Yeah.
what Dad was trying to say that I was saying, and that is what I was saying.
And that's
So
what
the
For me
Brady,
personally.
Brady was thinking I was saying.
Oh,
Kahm was thinking about what
Oh,
Pope
yeah.
thought
Saying-
earlier.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
just
thinking
wanna-
about
At
what
least
my dog
somebody
was
said
saying
it.
earlier.
Really, is a cool thing.
So I just want to get this completely right. Morally better to tell the truth. Morally better world is that colder, real world.
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
That's okay. 'Cause I'm
Why do I
kinda
have
the
a feeling
opposite
this
on
is
the
going to
second
come
one.
back and bite us?
No, I'm just on the opposite of that second one.
He's just
But-
establishing what we get to at
Yeah.
the end of every one of them. And it's like, all right, it's gonna come back here. It's
Yeah.
half question.
It could. It could. I don't have anything to build directly off that one. The next three might, get you if you answer wrong on the first one.
Very cool. Oh, those are just warm ups.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, those are some warm ups.
Test questions.
So I have this is more of an opinion question on me. So I'm happy for pushback on the phrasing of this question too. But I think it'd be hard to argue that the past doesn't exist. I think it'd be a bit difficult to argue that the future does not exist. But I am kind of leaning that the only period of time that never really exists is the present.
Okay.
Do you guys get where I'm going with this one?
Nope.
Nope,
Not
you
yet.
lost me at the present.
Okay.
Doesn't exist. I kind of was with you on
Well, back in
future and past.
See?
that was in the past.
That's my point.
How-
You never experience the present in the present, right?
'Cause
Yeah,
by the time
that's-
it's present, it's future.
So
Or
there's-
it's future and then it's it's past.
So does the present ever exist?
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
When?
No.
No.
But when will then be now?
I mean,
How
Soon.
It's never
How
the
is-
future then.
how is now the future when I'm saying this right now? This instant is
Nah,
now,
it's too
like now it's the past. I understand what you're saying by past, but I would argue that present is real and future is not.
Yeah.
Because future, my life could stop right now. You
The
know,
future goes
hopefully
on.
it doesn't. But future, but mine doesn't. And like, if you're talking, I don't know,
Or
like,
does it?
or does it? I would love for it
Your
to.
future
That'd be
is
really
the same
cool.
future as everybody. It's not like you're into like the world's future is a shared thing, or the galaxy's future, even better, is the shared thing.
I was like, is
Like
it?
it's gonna go on. Earth will die, and the future will still happen, right?
You mean
Maybe.
time will
Does
go
it?
on? So yours are
Pretty much, yeah.
Does it? If this is not a
Yes.
simulation,
But
Even
then what happens after the simulation? There's always a future. That's what I'm saying. There's always a
there's
future.
there's always a present. What do you mean?
When is the
Yeah.
present?
Right? Literally as we're living it right now. Like as it is a ongoing
It's
thing.
always fleeting. It's like how tomorrow never
lo-
you never
how-
get to tomorrow.
It is
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How long is the present?
That's my. I think it's like if it exists, it's a It's split second, split second, split second.
Or
split
is it an
second.
experience such as now we're recording this podcast? This is our present. We're in the present recording this podcast. Once this is done, that's in the past.
So the whole session of what you're doing is the
Right.
present.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Same.
How long moments?
No,
would
it's a-
be,
yeah.
Yeah.
What's it?
Or if
We're
we're
trying-
just constantly chasing those milliseconds forward in time.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay. I think we're trying to define what the
Because
present
I mean,
is right now.
I could say I would think that if we're gonna have all three, which I think we have all three, past, present, future,
Mhm.
that present has to be the moment you are in, whatever time frame that event occurrence takes place.
And it's more of a expanded period of time. It's not just like
Expanded, not
this
just-
moment, this moment, this moment.
Right. Yeah. And
Okay.
then of course, then that becomes the past as that moment moves to the next present. Whatever, like me driving home after this will be my next present situation. Till I get home, then home is now my present, right? So that's
Yeah.
the
So your day is made up of a series of like 30 presents.
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
subsets.
it's like every
Okay.
day is my birthday.
I love it.
What
There it
about-
is. That's beautiful.
what about like the mindsets of like you don't want to live in the past. You don't want to like be living in the future, but you want to be living in the now. And that is very different. Like I do find myself like when I am in the now, in the present, when it is happening, I, do find myself thinking about, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, no, you're thinking about the future when you don't need to be doing that. And then I do let myself just exist in the present. And I feel like that is a real thing. It's not, and if you're saying that the present doesn't exist, then me existing would only be in context. Do you?
I get where you're going.
I'm like
Yeah.
breaking. My brain's breaking. Like,
I want to try to do a science.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Let's
Let's hear
try
it.
to do
Let's
a
hear it.
science
It's been a
here.
while. I like it.
So if you are going to like your idea of you are never fully existing in the present because what you're reacting to is always in the past.
Okay.
So it takes a while for the light to come from the camera,
Yep.
from everything around me,
And for me to perceive it takes time.
to come into my brain and for me to process it. So everything I'm processing is
Already happened.
I'm
Right.
reacting to it. Yep.
Right.
So
Mhm.
everything is technically reactionary, but the present would be how I'm reacting, how my process happened. So I would be in the present whenever I am analyzing the past.
Subconsciously or
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
automatically.
Like if you're watching a F1 driver,
Okay.
or in the exact same situation where there is a 0.2 turn to get around something, these people have way faster reflex to get around it.
Mhm.
We're perceiving the same thing. They're just reacting way faster as they make the corner and I barrel roll, you know?
Fair enough. That's perfect. You guys led into the next one. Sorry. Go ahead.
So an F1 driver, their present lasts longer than your present.
I don't necessarily think their present lasts longer. I just think that they have more reactionary and quicker processing skills.
What
I think
happens in their present happens faster than what happens in Brady's present.
But they can exist since they reacted quicker and they recognized it quicker. They can exist in that moment longer.
You
That's
could,
what I'm saying.
I
If we're
think
going
that's
to
completely fair. Or if
milliseconds.
it's just better pattern recognition as well too.
True.
So
Yep.
it could be either or. I don't think I could
Train your brain.
extrapolate more on the present aspect, but the pattern recognition, absolutely.
This is perfect. Is it ever possible for someone to truly live in the present then? Let's segue perfectly.
It is impossible to react to the present.
Yes.
You can react to the future by looking at the past and move in the present.
To try
Or
to
process
influence the future.
No, you can't move
Yeah.
in the present. You can process in the
You're processing in the present to something that happened in the past.
yes, but I guess you could also move through that window while you're
Knowledge from the past to help the future. No, knowledge from the past to help the present become the future.
correct. So
that
technically, you
the-
could be moving
that's the
through the
tagline of
present,
this
but it would
movie?
be correct. You can be moving through the
In
present,
a
but
world.
when you're doing it, so you wouldn't be
It's
thinking
going to happen
about
a lot.
it. Yeah. Now,
But
did
see,
that
you're,
make-
you're talking the hard science. The soft science, though, is a perception.
yes,
And so the perception is, yes, you can live in the now.
yes,
Because basically that's the
What we're doing.
billions of the Buddhists. I mean, live in the now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
but
you-
if your now is constantly catching up to your perception of the past,
But see, that's the
Is
hard
that-
side. It's like, okay, then go back to define how long a now is.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to define the now is whatever you choose to perceive it to be.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to set every morning if I get up and say,
Mhm.
okay, I dreamt this, or I know this is on my calendar for the day, so that's what's going to happen in the future. I'm going to take the now, and just say, this is how I'm going to try to react to it today. So I'm living in the now in reaction for what may happen in the future or what may have happened when I dreamt it the night before.
Mm.
So it's
Or what
I'm-
you plan to have happen in the future too. If you think of that far ahead,
There you
think
go,
like
right.
goal accomplishment
Yep.
type stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
and also my theory doesn't set out well whenever it's self meditation. Your eyes are closed and you're just fully separated from the outside world, and you just have your own thoughts. So my theory doesn't stick up in that regard, but
The
it kinda
reactionary. Yeah.
yeah,
does. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All warmed up on that sense there.
I think
so.
sure.
Okay, because we're just going to get into a very, the philosophical question besides the God one.
Oh, no.
Do people have free will, or are you completely influenced by either the past or a deity or something?
Cash money.
I think everybody has the ability to have free will.
How so?
Like everybody has, I don't know, like everybody could hypothetically like not be influenced by, I don't know, like could make their own decision purely organically
Yeah.
if they'd like. But I think a lot of people do make decisions based off of whatever influences
Yeah.
and stuff they have. But I think a lot of the ability to have free will, and does it exist? I think the answer is yes.
I
Personally.
think I kind of agree that it exists, but I don't think it only exists up until a certain point in someone's life. Or if there are people who have, something happen to them and they can no longer recall the past and they're always living in this moment,
Mhm.
kind of, or the immediate past, if you guys want to get over it. But I really think once you turn a certain age, you lose free will.
Why?
And it's because all of your decisions are influenced off of something that happened in the past. I don't think, like, at my age, I don't think I have any necessarily free will. Not that I don't have any control over my life. I mean,
Mhm.
kind of free will is kind of saying that, but like, I
Yeah.
know I'm not going to eat certain things. I know I'm not going to do certain things because of things in the past.
But is
you know?
you having that choice to not eat those certain things and stuff, is that not free will?
Well, that's a question.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's determined. I think that, like, if someone tells me to go eat black licorice right now, I am never going to choose to do it.
And that's free will.
No,
But
because
it's
I will
based off of
never
past
choose to do it.
experience.
But
Like,
your decision,
it's an
the
automatic
fact that you
decision.
have a decision,
That's,
but
yeah,
the
no, I like that.
you know that right?
It is a decision, yeah. But is my decision completely
If you
independent?
didn't have free will and somebody told you to go eat black licorice, you would have to go eat black licorice, right?
But if the
But if you
plan
didn't
was-
have free
No.
will, you were able to build that opinion, make that decision. No, I'm not going to put myself through that. You hypothetically could, and if you lived in a world where we didn't where you didn't have free will, you would never be able to form that opinion or be able to make that decision,
Sorry,
right?
okay.
let's do a fun little
Sorry, I might
hypothesis
be
here.
losing
I like-
your
I like-
train.
I'm gonna make one distinction. The free will I'm talking about isn't like someone's telling you to do something, you have to do it.
Mhm.
The free will is your decisions are going to be made already. Your decisions are going to be made
like a
because of
preset.
something that happened.
Predestination.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I
kind of.
see.
Yeah, is life
That would be
determined?
the-
sense,
Their
Because
fate
essentially.
it's
and all
based
that
on your
jazz.
experiences. That's what
Yeah.
you're going with. So, like,
Yeah.
you won't ever eat black licorice again
Because I don't like it.
because you don't like
Yeah,
it.
and my
you know that
body-
because you tried it.
Yep.
No, cool.
And my body will not let me have it. Like, it doesn't want me to have it.
I think you can train your body because black licorice is amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not, but it's okay.
I do.
But
I think, mind if we start a little study here, Grayson? If at ever point we can make the determination that free will exists, if Grayson doesn't eat black licorice the rest of his life as we run the study, and if at one point during your life you eat black licorice,
Oh,
it's predisposition.
See, but here's now.
there you go.
Now is like, if I choose to eat it, it's
Yeah.
because I'm doing it out of spite. Which is
Oh,
still not my decision.
Spite eat black licorice. That's the plan.
I'll be like, you know what? I got one more day on this earth. Brady's watching. Check this out.
I'm out here.
I'm taking us down.
But that's still a predetermined decision. It's not something I'm coming to at free will. It's predetermined because I know that you would expect me not to,
Yeah, that's fair.
and I would want to prove you wrong
what?
But yeah, it's still your choice to do that
Yeah.
spiteful act.
because of something that happened in the past. Though.
Right. Yeah, you could not do that.
True, but
and
it's
you could do
still
that. Either way, it's a choice you're going to make on that last day on earth.
exactly
Right.
I think it's just we're getting mixed up in the definition of free will.
Yeah.
Is free will just able to be free and do whatever I willfully want to do
Mhm.
because it's what I want to do? And I think if I'm correct, you're saying you can't because you are just you're a sum of all the events that have happened in the past.
Yep.
Therefore, you've been guided one way, so you can't go against what your nurture is as opposed to what your nature is.
Mhm.
Right?
I don't agree with that very last part, the
Fair
nurture
enough.
nature thing, but I agree with it. Yeah, you are a sum of your experiences.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And some people would go as far to argue is like, okay, he will never have black licorice, even though he
Mhm.
will choose to never have it. We know he will never have it because he doesn't like it, or I'm allergic to it. My body doesn't like it.
I could also argue murder. I'm not going to commit it. I don't think I'm going to commit it because I know what the consequences will be. Therefore, free will has been taken from me, not by anything that I have done,
Ah.
but because I know what could happen.
Well, it's your experience of perceiving that what's happened to other people. That's why like people used to kill people so savagely in medieval times,
Mhm.
is they really wanted to drive the point home. Like, hey,
Mhm.
if you murder someone, we're gonna burn you in a bowl, a brazen bowl, and you're gonna cook a literal bowl. You're gonna cook from the inside out
Yep.
in this big copper thing.
Mhm.
And that's an experience you had, even though you weren't in the bowl. You saw the consequences.
Yeah,
and all
I
this
did
stuff.
laugh because I did imagine a big like soup bowl.
They probably did that
I'm
too.
sure they did, and I'm sure it's horrific.
They were
but
very
I did
creative about how
imagine-
they did that.
I did imagine the soup bowl, and I also think that it's the things that we are predisposed to do. Thank you very much. It's been a while. Is be born and die. Those are our two guarantees in life,
Mhm.
and then I think there is a little wiggle room in between. Now, is that actual free will? I think to an extent, yes, but I mean, if you think that there is not something above you, then I think you have full control and free will. If you think there's something above you, I think the argument for everything in your life is
Scripted.
predetermined
Yeah.
exists.
That is part of the God argument. These two go
That's
hand in hand, but
exactly.
I'm keeping that out for now.
I'm doing
for a
my
future
best
episode.
to try to keep it out. As
No,
well,
it's
but I
perfect.
don't know
No,
if you really
it's a
can.
good point to make. It's like you can, if you are.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Christianity has very many different sects, as we know.
Yeah.
And one of them says, one is predestined. Doesn't matter what you're going to do, you're going to end up in heaven or wherever.
Mhm.
Another one is God gave mankind free will to see what they're going to do with it, and then you have to earn your way into heaven. That's another thought process, which is completely opposite of the first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and another one would be like, you can do free will, and doesn't matter anyway. You're not going to get in, and just knock yourselves out.
The club's full.
Yeah, pretty much.
You'd still believe in a God. It's like, sorry, max
I mean,
capacity.
but you could also believe that God is an idea that pulls people together, and then you go to a higher plane or another plane.
Mhm.
And I was going to bring this up on the other argument when you're saying a past, present, and a future. You've got there's the argument that everything's happening at the same time.
Multi dimensions.
Yes, so
Yeah.
there is no past because the past is now, and the future is now. It's just on a different dimension.
Mhm.
So yes.
I didn't want to go down there, but like on that whole note, like time is not all the way real. I mean, like it is, but it's not. Like, and that's why I have a hard time with what's considered past, present, and future too.
I have a hard time with time. I get it.
Because like
You have a hard time with time.
nah, I didn't get that. But like present, like currently in this present right now, I don't know exact currently
Currently in this present right now.
I can't wait to see what the new watches look like.
Right.
I don't know like specific time zone changes and stuff, but like hypothetically it could be like 2 days later in like Australia than it is here, right?
Right.
How?
Like, and how you time travel when you when you fly from like
you don't
a
actually.
really long flight, kind of though, because like what if you like
You just
like,
move back
I've
into
always-
construct. You don't actually switch times.
yes, what do you mean?
You
Your
can
whole
actually
day and
you can
life
take off in
changes.
Australia and land in the U.S. before you took off in Australia.
You can
Exactly, then you have the whole
you
day
cannot.
then.
No, you can't.
Yes,
It's just
you
it's
can.
the measurement of time.
That's
And
what I'm
that's what-
saying.
Yeah,
that's why
your
my
time
brain-
doesn't change, but it's the
Time
measurement
doesn't
of it.
change. The measurement changes.
Yes. So you can have. You're right. You can have 2 different New Years.
I think your head is broken.
You're right.
I'm hurting.
I think there's 24 different New Years.
Going back to the
Yes.
black licorice argument.
Eat it.
No. I think I'm
Eat it,
also
Free
lost
Willy.
on this, and hopefully, if you're a listener, maybe you're lost with me.
They're sleeping.
Maybe.
This is the little ASMR for work. Kind of
This is their put them to sleep podcast. Take it on at night and just go to bed.
So you're saying with the whole predisposition, you will never have black licorice again because you already tried it and you don't like it. What if it were to happen to where like how your taste buds mature throughout life, right?
Mhm.
So if you had that as a kid and you said, I'm never gonna have black licorice again. Sorry, I spit.
That's
But-
right in the ears.
That's a little extra protein for you.
Protein. Ooh.
Magical.
Let's not ask questions. Magical.
But what if like later on in life you were to accidentally get some black licorice,
Yeah.
like fed to you and you didn't know it was black licorice and then you liked it,
God's
That's not
plan.
free will. It was fed to me, wasn't it?
Exactly it.
but then you like it and then
Wow.
wait,
I could have it again
said it was
because I knew
God's
I
plan.
liked it.
okay.
Then you
cool.
would
I'm
have-
glad we cleared that up because I've been sitting. Sure. Move on.
So, what are your
please.
thoughts on ouzo,
Excuse you?
the drink?
Ooh,
It's anise. It's black licorice in alcohol form.
I think you're
Oh,
talking about
sounds awful.
absinthe.
No, ouzo.
Absinthe also tastes like black
O-U-Z-O, yeah.
licorice in alcohol form,
There you go.
but it's
I have no
crazy.
thoughts. Haven't tried it.
Okay.
Sorry. Probably won't though.
May change your mind.
But I might.
May change your whole mind.
Cam, you have any last thoughts on free will before we move on? Get out of this little.
No, I choose to not answer.
beautiful.
Fair enough.
Did you really?
Did I choose? Oh, shit.
I want to ask, do you think anybody is a completely unique person Or is it more likely that we are all part, or every individual is part of a larger identity?
Hive mind?
You could argue. There's a couple. So arguments can go in a few directions. Spiritually,
Yeah.
like we take our consciousness from a sea of consciousness.
Christianity is a spiritual hive mind, which is a hilarious way to look at it.
I didn't put it in
That
those
is
words.
great.
I did not put it in those words.
All
Cameron.
religions are spiritual hive
Yeah,
minds.
but there are religions that are like you just simply come from an ocean, you go back into an ocean, and we are all from that ocean.
Such a cool way to look at it too.
But there's no it's just ebbs and flows like
Yeah.
that. But we are all part or made up of this little thing. So
Yeah.
none of us are truly unique because we all share this thing.
Yeah.
We could go into physically. Please correct me here. Mass cannot be created or destroyed. So all that we are was either owned or was something else at some
Right.
point,
Transference. yeah.
right? So we are not unique individual parts. We
Yeah.
are borrowed parts or part of a
Recycled.
I couldn't agree more.
recycled parts. And philosophically, you could argue that we are all. I'll do the philosophical one later because that plays into the next question. For now, would you argue that there are individual people, like you are a true individual, or are we all a part of something that is actually a identifiable thing?
I think there might be a larger overarching thing, but everyone absolutely is unique. Now, just literally time and space. Only one person could be at a time and space. Now, where your particle, quote unquote, exists
Yep.
would be in a different place than another particle. It doesn't say that there's
That's fair.
other particles. Like, there's no way that we could all be existing in the same spot at once. So I think there's a time and space argument to be said that even if it's very minute, what is unique about us could simply just be, I'm existing here.
Okay. I like it. So simple separation between person and person makes you a unique person.
Yeah, if you look, how computers, if you can say, if you have two things, 2 points, it can predict complete accuracy what those two combinations will always be, right? Because it'll be one or the other.
Mhm.
If you have 3 things, it can also compute it. But if you have like 4 or 5 things, it gets really fishy. Whether a computer can accurately determine all the random combinations, it gets to so many zeros you can't believe it.
It definitely can, though.
To a point. But then, okay, so you say you had the most supercomputer you could have. How many billions and billions of parts go into a human, an atom? So not just 3 or 4, there's billions, and so the different combinations therefore make you unique, physiologically.
Yeah.
Not necessarily morally or whatever, or the way we think. So you get into the hive think. I mean, maybe people believe the same thing, very similar, but they are still unique people, just entities. It has to be.
Mhm.
There's just too many combinations.
Right.
I get you. Okay.
I think I understand. I'm agreeing with you guys and probably just going to repeat the exact same thing, but I hope not. I don't know. I definitely agree that people can be susceptible to hive mind like thoughts. But I do believe, and yes, I do believe that we are also made up of all the experiences and all of like everything that we are, is based off of things that we've decided we don't like or we do like, and things that we do want to, exemplify in ourselves versus what we don't. But I think the ability and the fact to like take all of those experiences that could be identical to other people's experiences and opinions and stuff and combine them all into one person, that like the probability of that happening is just astronomically not I don't know. I don't know how to phrase that very well, but like it wouldn't happen, right? Like with all of the possibilities and experiences that somebody can have in this world to then come up with the exact same, everybody comes up with the exact same thoughts, the exact same thing. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be sitting here having this podcast. We wouldn't be discussing our different opinions and topics of things, like it would.
I get that point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Let me phrase something similar then in a little different way.
I should have said the Nebraska football hive mind instead of religion. That would have been so much easier. That would have pissed off so many less people. Not say football or sports
Would
team. Yeah, the Nebraska football hive
Would
mind.
it have pissed off fewer people?
Yeah, for religion. You got a good point. Yeah, got yourself a good point. Sorry.
That was so funny. No. is your, let's hope, is your primary identity you, or is your primary identity a citizen of this time? Is your primary identity a citizen of Earth? Which one is the larger point I'm getting at here, right? Is that people will argue something is real because it's perceived. If you want to do Schrodinger's cat kind of thing, people argue that's what makes something real is how it's perceived. It doesn't
It's
matter.
dead, by the way.
Yeah, probably. But the truth is the percent
Spoiler
whatever people perceive the truth to be, right? And so you go millions of years down the line, people aren't going to know any individuals. They might not even remember, I'm not going to say Jesus, except right there, but they might not remember like Alexander the Great, Napoleon, all these people from the past that we know are very singular people, but they might not recognize them. And so at that point, are they individuals anymore? Because they're not perceived as individuals, or are they citizens of this time period?
I think they're still individuals.
Okay, what makes them, to those future people, what makes them individuals?
Does the fact, especially with books and stuff like that, how things can be physically recorded and how one person can perceive that this person is an individual and record all of the things that this individual did and the influence that this individual had, just because future people then don't perceive that for themselves or say they weren't to read that book, does that just dissipate? Because it's already been, people have already perceived this person as, like, it's already happened. That's in the past. But because it's in the past, does that mean that it's not real anymore?
That comes up to an argument like, it's like, when do you die? Do you die when your body stops working? Or do you die when people don't remember who you are anymore? It's kind of the same thing I'm getting from that argument you're making. It's like, you exist as a person as long as someone thinks about you. But if no one thinks about you anymore, do you really exist? Have you ever really
I
existed?
think you have. I think that's the whole physics concept of energy can't be created or destroyed. Like,
It's also the butterfly effect, because you have created an impact on the world. So you can't say you never existed, because you have created an impact doing whatever you've done. So you set in motion a series of events. Even if you died and people forgot about you and they're like, there was something, I don't remember who it was, but there was somebody who used to live here. I have no idea who it was. So they don't remember you, but you've already created something. You've already created the ripple in the pond.
Yeah.
So
You think the butterfly effect applies to every individual, no matter how minute they have, like my existence. Let's say I never do it. Let's say tomorrow I start staying in bed the rest of my life and I never get out. I have already left some sort of ripple.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I exist as long as that ripple's rippling throughout time.
You bet.
And you can't unring the bell. I mean, it's you can't stop it. You can't say as long as it's still happening, and because it's created so many other things that have happened. So I mean, you can't not have had an impact.
I think you can stop it.
Well, and let's see. Okay, let's try.
All right,
Not
Grayson.
that. All right.
Hear me
Like,
out. I got this. You passed away. You are left in the ground for a while. People forget about you. So no one remembers Grayson. You turn to petroleum fuel. Someone burns you in their car. You go to the ozone layer, and then you get with the other fuels and say, "I'm reflecting my revenge," and you're still there.
So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful argument.
What if you're cremated?
I guess you start the ozone process early.
What if we never break the Great Barrier? Right?
Reefs?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you
The-
take off from the Great Barrier Reef, you'll actually never mind.
Okay.
You'll land in America the day before you left.
The Great Filter. Sorry. Like the idea that we can never leave our solar system. It's actually impossible for us to leave our solar system. So like humanity is doomed to a point as long as, if the sun goes out, we go out. Let's say we can't do that, but there is other life out there. The future goes on despite if we go on or not. Right? Do I have a ripple if Earth is just completely blown up? Do I still have a ripple in time? Because
I think you're done. No.
yeah, no, at that point, I think if we're in a completely different solar system, they got their own time
Yeah.
continuum.
If you've
space.
completely erased everything,
Just
everything
because your
going on.
ripples were so small comparatively to the universe,
yeah.
that once the Earth blows up or whatever, then those ripples are gone. That's a whole nother bigger ripple that now is deafened yours.
Yeah.
So
And then
I think that's why.
unless an alien life form or whatever observed you somehow
Yeah.
from wherever they are.
Oh yeah, like
And they brought
you
that
pushed
back.
the button. They
Yeah.
saw you push the button, blow up the Earth. Like that mother trucker.
or they saw you just like, hey, he just stays in his bed all day. let's bring that notion to wherever they're playing. So,
Belnark floor. Yeah,
oh, Belnark.
I love Belnark.
Yeah, the floor especially. Yeah.
I don't think I
Belnark
get
the
that
Florence
one.
guy.
No idea.
Belnark the floor and sky.
But also,
Bell.
Belnark rules.
I'm sorry.
In a world.
To expand, just because if you're a 0.1% change on the world and you look at a larger scale and you get more zeros added in front of it to figure out how much of influence on it, the one doesn't go away. Like you can approximate it away, but if you're looking at it exactly, that how many zeros down the line, how small still exists.
Yeah, and the space dust of my mass or whatever
True.
from the
Yeah.
Earth that blew up still exists. Or whatever.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Okay.
So there's as
So
long
we're
as
individuals
until mass can be destroyed.
until
The
science
strength-
changes.
The strength of ripple might change, but the ripple always exists.
Never the ripple.
Well, I'll start being nicer to you now that I know you had so much impact on the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have access to a pretty cool button.
Just to the Belnark Florindians.
Yes.
Oh goodness. All right. We'll get to the last question. We'll just skip ahead. Is it more important to do what you think is good or what society deems to be good?
Welcome to Side B. So we've talked philosophy, and one of the fundamental philosophical statements of all time was by Rene Descartes, who said, "I think, therefore I am." So was Descartes correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he was explaining that at least your mind has to be true, even if it's a fake mind. It
Yeah.
still has to exist because you're still perceiving things.
So if you're not perceiving things, you do not exist.
I don't
That's the tough part.
necessarily I don't think I necessarily say perceiving things, but I think an individual that is brain dead, has no functions, no natural functions, is put on a ventilator, but still has higher brain functions, is still an alive person.
Hmm.
The moment you lose higher brain processing, but are still on a ventilator and your lower brain functions work, as in like the stuff that keeps you swallowing, breathing, it's tough to say that you are truly alive. You are hoping that your higher brain functions come back or an ability to, but at that point, you are just a basic functioning consuming.
For the argument's sake, then Descartes does not say, "I think, therefore I am alive."
Mhm.
It's about
I think,
something
therefore I
else.
am.
Yeah.
I am.
You are
That's
still
fair.
a physical, like when that's happening, you're still a body that's there.
Well, the
Other
point is, even
people
if you're a
have perceived
computer
you,
loaded
and-
up, even
Mhm.
if your body is not real, your
Yeah.
mind perceiving and thinking about things proves that at least your mind, which is you, is real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's just for someone who's contemplating if anything exists.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's fair.
One of the greatest fears too of many people, and one of mine is I think it's if I'm not saying it correctly, it's locked in disease or illness or whatever it is. It's basically you have no external. There's nothing that shows you externally that you're breathing or you're alive other than you're breathing, and there's no brainwave activity. You can't move your eyes. You
Mhm.
can't respond anything to any external stimuli. So, but you're locked in. You know you exist.
Mhm.
That's
You
what,
know
like,
you're in
Celine
there.
Dion has, or
No, that's lock up falling over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her muscles just
Oh,
lock up and fall over.
I thought it was the onset of that. Not that she's locked in, but like that. That's
Oh,
gonna
you
happen
think
in
it?
the
You
future.
really? Is it?
Like,
I
does
didn't.
it progress to that? That's,
She is
I guess,
getting-
the question. Yeah.
There's another
I didn't-
celebrity going through it too.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew her muscles would lock up.
Yeah.
But I did not know that was progressive.
No,
Oh,
I didn't know.
interesting.
I didn't know that was
Do
a.
not
I'm
make
not
a
stating it
horrible
is
joke. Do
progressive,
not
but
make a
it might.
Oh.
Maybe, but yeah, it's so then the argument then you could say, I am thinking, I am inside, or maybe to you, an external person. Let me put it this way: external person sees that I'm not thinking,
Mhm.
therefore I don't exist to you, but I'm inside. I know I exist. I am. So
Yeah. I mean, you never know anything else exists for certain is kind of the argument too. Like the locked in person does not have consciousness or whatever. Cannot
Right.
think.
Sorry.
well, then I
they
don't
can think, they just can't move anything external.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they
It's
might
all. It's
not
all
know
internal
they
thoughts.
It's all
They
internal.
cannot
Yeah, so
physically
they
so
do
you
know they
look at them
exist.
and you look at them, you run tests, and you're like, oh, this person's basically brain dead.
but
Maybe
they,
not brain dead, but this person's not
They can't talk. They can't. Do
They're a
anything.
mannequin.
Yeah.
pretty much.
essentially.
But if they still have some thoughts going on, they can know that they exist,
Okay.
and which is all we can all do as far as knowing things.
You agree?
I mean, yeah, I think I'm stuck. Because clearly, always on these
Stuck
types of
inside her
questions,
head.
you know.
Some people.
But so I know we're talking literally like I think, therefore I am, right?
Mhm.
But I'm taking it as the concept, right, of the things that you perceive are your truth, right? Like what we were kind of talking about on side A. But so when you say that, like say you're, in a hospital on a deathbed or something, you are not thinking anymore at that point. Maybe you're moments away, seconds away from,
Right.
or maybe you are still thinking and there is some kind of, something that happens when you die. Who knows? But say you're completely brain dead, quote unquote, and
Mhm.
no thoughts, zero thoughts. But that doctor who's treating you, they've perceived you. They know that you are.
But the person who's
But
brain
you're saying that
dead
the person who's brain dead
doesn't know.
doesn't exist anymore.
They don't know that they exist anymore. Is what we're saying. Is what the argument
Okay,
would say.
okay.
So
Well,
yeah, if you're
Well-
that low, you don't know you exist anymore. Do you really exist to yourself? Probably not, because you don't know.
No. Yeah.
Right.
You
Well, at
can't
that
be
point, you
certain.
don't know anything.
Right.
and again, we can argue Descartes says I am, not
But
I
that's-
exist.
That's why I'm saying, like,
We have
you
to
are.
define.
Like, and
What
that's
does
why
that
I'm saying
mean?
you are still
That is the argument.
in the world, even if you are not.
You could go. You could go to the.
certain,
You
though.
could go to the collective higher power of thought, where I'm not thinking just on this plane.
Mhm.
Now I am thinking on another multi-dimension plane.
Right.
My existence is now somewhere in a giant hive
It's
thought
there.
process.
Yeah.
It's Husk Big Go Big Red or whatever it is, you're thinking out in the ether somewhere is where
Right.
your brains are. It's not right here.
I mean,
That might be the I am part.
I agree with that. I think that does. I think what I said in side A about the whole physics concept of energy can't be destroyed or
Mhm.
created or destroyed. Like
Mhm.
it's
Yep.
got to go somewhere. You
Right.
know.
The
It-
reason Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, is because he was presented with the argument that you can never be truly sure that anything exists.
Mhm.
Anything.
Mhm.
Like in yourself even. And so Descartes goes, well, no, I'm perceiving your argument. So I know that for sure my brain, I exist.
I can truly live in the present.
So yeah, even if someone's brain dead, the doctor will be 99% sure that the brain dead person exists, but they wouldn't know that even if they were still healthy.
Mm.
You can't know it. It's kind of the argument.
So
Cool.
what's the question here? I'm
Was
confused.
Descartes right?
Okay.
Yes, in my opinion.
I guess what's your opinion of I am, and does thinking
I
fit
think
into
so.
it?
Yeah, I guess.
You had a question?
I do.
Oh yes,
I do. So I am in cardiac rehab right now, and the group of people I'm with are awesome people, but I am the
By
youngest.
far the youngest.
By far the youngest. So I've learned a lot of awesome stories from people while we do our small exercises, but this one is not related to those. This one's related to what's on the TV while we're exercising. And they have the game channel on every day, so I know the game channel's schedule from 9:15 to 10:30 every day down on lock. And this question comes from Rob's favorite show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? With Phil. So
I don't mind the show.
the question as prompted is,
Oh.
what would be the funniest thing you could cheer at the end of an opera to show that you loved it? The example from Who Would Be a Millionaire was, there are 4 question choices. The answer being, of course, bravo. But one of the options was, whoop, there it is. I thought
That's the correct answer.
it is. I don't know what the funniest thing besides that is. And I was hoping we could prod the room a little bit to get something better to stand up at the end of an opera and cheer.
Oh, so show that you like it.
I have not be to show that you like it, because I have not be whoop, there it is. Which I don't know if you guys know the origin story of where whoop, there it is comes
Whoop,
from.
there it is.
Do you guys
Whoop,
know
there it
the song?
is.
Back again.
Uh-huh. The song, absolutely. Do you know what tag team was when they created that song?
No.
Stripper DJs. And whenever their downstairs parts slip out over the mic, they would go, whoop, there it is.
Oh, that's funny.
I
Well,
did
now
learn
there's
that.
simply nothing funny in this.
Knowing that,
magnificent, absolutely beautiful, and I am trying my best to find something funnier. So, table.
man,
With all that context, I can't.
Yeah.
That is the best thing you could say. At the end of it.
Right.
I think so as well.
I kind of was going with funny is a relative term, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you were somebody who is Gen Z or, consumes online media, I don't know.
Don't say
I don't know.
skibbity. Please don't.
No, no, absolutely not. So if somebody stood up at the end of an opera, which is a regal, thing where everybody dresses nice and gives a
Mhm.
good clap, and brava, or that's in character. If somebody was just like, "Slay queen, you broke the house down, queen," I think that'd be hilarious.
That's very nice. That is very good. Remember, that's an entire audience. Everyone's saying that. It's
I
not
think
just
that'd be
one person, which is very
I
good.
quit the opera.
It's like Madame Butterflies getting performed, and then people stand up and do that. That'd just be insane. That would just absolutely be bonkers.
Deep opera. Joke. Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing better to say appreciation. There are funnier things you could say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I soiled myself, and then run out of the room. Or something. But that's not showing appreciation.
Right,
Or maybe you're like, I soiled myself and I stayed. It was that good.
Incredible.
Maybe. But I still, with the context, whoop, there it is.
Yeah, that's untoppable.
Maybe Cam can say
Cam?
this. I don't know.
I've been racking my brain, and all I got is cheese it. That's the only exclamation I got in my brain right now.
Do you just want Cheez-Its?
That's a good exclamation, though.
Just, wow, just so random. You stand up. I'm thinking Arby's.
I'm loving it. Food quotes.
Just Mario sounds.
or you could just say, and that's side B.
Hey.
Excellent.
Perfect.